Hello folks, this is Sula speaking, and you're watching a commentary video on League of Legends. In this video, I'll be playing Kayle, and I'll be playing as part of a pre-made team with 4 other people who I've met up with from Realms Beyond. First we have Cole playing as Annie, Mostly Harmless playing as Tristana, Lurker playing as Vygar, and Donsky playing as Blitzcrank. Right before this game, we had played a practice game together on Twisted Treeline, and it's actually the last game that I've cast on this channel. So if you watch that, we immediately followed up that game with this one. And it was very nice, I'll say, to have a full team of 5 people for a pre-made game here. Now, we are up against the enemy team there, you can see above. One thing I'll note is that a couple of the people on their team actually have Revive as a summoner ability, which is interesting because Revive is pretty universally agreed to be the worst summoner ability in this game. And I agree with that, by the way. What Revive does is after you die, it will bring you back to life immediately instead of having to wait for a certain period to come back to life. But it will only do it once every 5 minutes, I think. Not 100% sure on that. So why is it a bad summoner ability? Well, it doesn't do anything to prevent you from dying. It just brings you back to life if you do die. The whole point of this game is not dying, not getting killed. So you want summoner abilities that help prevent you from dying, not one that brings you back to life if you do get killed. So it's better to take something like Flash or Teleport or Ignite or Exhaust or something that's going to help you stay alive, not something that's going to bring you back to life when you die. It's like accepting failure before you even get started. So I was feeling pretty confident before this game started that we'd be able to win this game because based on the fact that a couple other people had revived, that was sort of an indication that they didn't know too much about what they were doing. Anyway, we started out by having 3 people head into the bottom lane, so obviously that was a mistake, and Lurker is going to come over here with me in the top lane, so it will be Kayle and Vygar on our team, and we'll see in a minute who we end up laning against. And see, there you go, 3 people with Revive on their team. You can see what items we bought. One thing that I said to Mostly Harmless was starting with Cloth Armor for Tristana if you're going to take the middle lane, not the greatest idea. You should probably take a different item. I'm not all that familiar with Tristana, but I'm pretty sure that starting with just a Cloth Armor, if you're not jungling, that doesn't seem right to me. So anyway, I'm up here in the top lane with Lurker. Donsky and Cole are going to be down in the bottom lane with Annie and Blitzcrank, and Mostly Harmless is going to be in the middle lane with Tristana. So why these characters? Well, I am, of course, the one with the most experience playing this game out of this group. I'm level 22. Most of the rest of our team is in the level 10 to 14 region, roughly. So everybody's played some games, but haven't played all that many, with the exception of Lurker. Lurker is almost completely brand new to this game. I think he's only played about 4 games ever of League of Legends. So he has the least experience, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to be working together with him up here in the top lane. When I'm playing with people who are relatively new, I think that I always try to let them pick their champions first on the select screen, because when you first start playing, you don't have access to very many champions. You won't have bought very many. You can only use the ones that are free for that week. So I let our other people pick first, and it turned out that we had Tristana, we had an Annie, we had a Vygar. So based on that, I reasoned that we needed a little bit more support, and we needed a little bit more attack damage, and so Kayle seemed like a natural fit for that, which is why I ended up playing her. There was no need for me to play an Annie or a Karthus or a Zillion, because we already had a lot of magic damage on this team. We didn't need more magic damage. We needed some kind of support. So Kayle seemed like a good fit, and I'm reasonably happy with how that played out. Alright, anyway, up here you can see we're laning against Blitzcrank and we're laning against Misfortune. I don't want to spend too much time talking about Kayle's abilities because I've cast a couple of Kayle games already. I'll just say briefly that Kayle has a passive that causes her... anytime she gets ability power, it adds to her attack damage. Anytime she gets attack damage, it adds to her ability power. It's one of the best passives in the game. Her 3 skills, the first one you've seen me using, her E skill, is the one that causes her sword to catch fire and adds a little splash damage and ranged attack to Kayle's attack. Her W skill is healing. It's called Divine Blessing. It also speeds you up slightly, so that's the second one I put a point in, and you've seen me using that a little bit. Heals the target and speeds up their movement slightly, so very useful utility skill, and there it is. There's Divine Blessing. Last, her Q skill is called Reckoning, and it slows the target that it hits, deals damage, slows the target, And yeah, so I guess that's all it does, but that's pretty good. It both does damage and it also slows the target. So useful for chasing down people, preventing people from getting away. And I'm actually going to put, even though that's the last skill I put a point in, I'm going to put the most points in that one because it favors a sort of an aggressive style of play, and that's what I'm going to be going for in this game. I figure I can be pretty aggressive. Last, I guess I should just mention briefly, Kayle's ultimate puts a shield around someone. It's called Intervention, and it makes them invulnerable to damage for a very short period of time. Used to be longer, now it's quite short. It's only, I think it's 2 seconds initially and up to 3 seconds when you put all your points into it. So yeah, that's Kayle as a character. My last video, I featured Veigar, and he is a mage champion. Basically, all he does is kills enemy champs. That's really all he does, but he's quite good at doing that if you play him well. Lurker, of course, though, is relatively new to the game, so he doesn't have that much practice with this character. Anyway, right here, we're laning against Misfortune and an enemy Blitzcrank, and they have been very aggressive in going after our tower. Now here, I was going forward thinking maybe I could get Misfortune, but she popped off Summoner Heal, and so that means I'm not going to be able to get a kill in on her. I used my Ignite on her, so that does mean that her heal will have less of an effect, but I can't go forward and chase there, or I would get killed. So anyway, it's back to base for me. And I'd like to buy something here, but there's not too much I can do other than just buy the entry-level boots. And I was thinking about a slight ward, but then I realized, well, you know, they're pushed up against our tower, so there's no real reason to buy a ward right now. I'm anticipating them being up next to our tower for the time being. In terms of minion kills, I'm doing all right, not great. I only have 9 minion kills. That's partly because Kayle is not a good farming champion until later in the game. It's pretty difficult to get minion kills early on with Kayle. So, yeah, I'm not doing great there, doing about as well as I can. I have to play pretty defensively. Kayle is a weak champion early in the game. She doesn't really become good until later in the game. She becomes very good at the end of the game if you can get the proper items for her. But right at the start, not so great. And here they're pushing forward again. I'm telling Lurker he needs to go back to base. He really should probably go back to base right now because he's almost dead and he's out of mana. Remember, Veigar's a very mana-intensive champion. But, yeah, if he's going to stay around, I figure I might as well heal him. Anyway, we've still done pretty good damage to these two here. Yeah. And yeah, now he's finally going to go back to base. So maybe when he comes back, we'll be able to be a little bit more aggressive. And there, I'm able to get a nice minion kill. If you've played this game some, normally the melee minions for the other team, if they get hit twice by the tower, you can then finish them off with one more attack, and I was able to do that there. Wasn't able to get the casting minions are tougher to get. And Lurker comes right back because he's got teleport, so nicely done. And now we'll see what we can do here. Blitzcrank's signature ability is he can grab you, and you've already seen him grab us once or twice here. And that's a pretty nice dark matter there, Lurker, but just for your own reference, you probably don't want to use that skill too much in the early game because it costs so much mana. If you're playing as Veigar, you want to focus more on farming up his ability power by using those Baleful Strikes. I think that's what his Q skill is called. So you should probably be saving your mana for that and not using dark matter too much. Anyway, this is still the laning phase, which means that the most interesting thing is trying to get experience on both sides. So the goal right now is trying to get minion kills more than anything else, trying to get some gold, trying to get experience. So can be kind of slow sometimes, but I don't want to cut this out of the video because then it won't make sense what happens later on. All right, now Blitzcrank's going to take some damage, and Lurker gets a great Event Horizon to stun him, and together we're able to finish him off. So very, very well done, Lurker. That was a perfect Event Horizon, without which we couldn't have gotten the kill. Alright, now Misfortune is sticking around, and she should probably be playing a little bit more defensively since her partner just got killed. But if she's going to stay here, maybe we can come forward and get her. So first I'm going to hit her with my Reckoning to slow her down, and that's going to slow her, and then Lurker gets off another great Event Horizon to stun her, and I'm going to continue attacking, and I'm going to slow her yet again, and just keep attacking, and yeah, Lurker gets the kill on a nice Baleful Strike. So once again, well done. 2 kills for us. You know, at no cost to ourselves. So very nice teamwork, Lurker. Again, you wouldn't know, I don't think you'd know that this was like your 4th game of League of Legends or whatever this happens to be. Now, the reason why we were able to do that is because the lane was pushed so far forwards. This is why, amongst people that are really good at League of Legends, they generally don't want to get pushed too far forward in the laning phase. If you get pushed too far forward, it opens you up. You get pulled away from your tower, and it means that if anything goes wrong, you can be cut off and killed rather easily. So we don't want to get pulled too far forward either, which is why I suggest after we get in a few hits on the tower that we pull back, go back and heal. Lurker just needs mana. I actually do need to heal. So I'm going to go back, and that was a successful little push. But yeah, I mean, you can see the other team did a little damage to our tower, but not very much. You know, it's pretty negligible. So yeah, don't push the lane too far forward. There's a lot of dangers associated with that. Okay, now I can buy Mercury Treads, and then I'm going to buy one ward, and next I'll start saving up for Ginsu's Rage Blade, which is really the key item for Kayle in terms of playing this character, and at least in terms of the games it's set up right now. Over here, I'm just checking out the other lanes. We seem to be doing okay. We've had Cole unfortunately got, or who got killed in the bottom lane? It looks like Donsky got killed a little bit earlier in the bottom lane, but they seem to be doing okay. And Mostly Harmless is doing quite well in the middle lane so far. So far so good. No real issues. Now they've pushed forward the lane again a bit. So that means once again they have a lot of minions, but we'll try to we got to wipe out these minions, and then maybe we can counterattack. And that's actually a pretty nice dark matter there. Although, again, it does cost a lot of mana to do that. So right now, just wiping out the minions. Misfortune keeps dropping her farming skill, and now she's going to use her ultimate, but I'm going to throw my invincibility shield. I didn't realize quite how much damage I'd taken, though, because the two of them are going to come after me, and fortunately, I'm just able to get out of there with about 40 hit points left. So that was one situation where I didn't realize just how much damage I was taking. I did manage to dodge almost all the Misfortune ultimate. Now, Lurker, you can come up and be a little bit more aggressive there. You don't have to play quite so defensively. Both of them were pretty low, but oh, I see again that Vigar's out of mana, which again seems to happen all the time early in the game, which is why he's a bit of a tough champ to play. Yeah, but anyway, we've been reasonably successful up here. Once again, the other team's being aggressive, so I'm going to take a line down here at the bottom and try to come out beneath the other team and maybe get another kill here. You can see Blitzcrank is taking some shots from the tower, so I'm going to try to come in behind him here, and if I can do that, we've got a good chance of getting a kill. Unfortunately, Lurker doesn't have any mana, and instead Misfortune comes forward, so instead I'm going to slow her, and then I'm going to ignite her and keep attacking, and if we can just get in one or two more shots, if I can hit her, oh, she uses Summoner Heal, and let's see if I can just get her a couple more times, maybe we can kill her, but then the tower is going to come up, and unfortunately we can't get her. And then the other team's Vigar is going to come up, and he stuns me with his Event Horizon, but I don't walk in, I can see where he's placed his dark matter. I can see where he's placed his little meteor attack, so I'm not going to walk into it because I can see it on the ground. And then even though he uses his ultimate on me, I still have enough hit points to be able to survive. Now I considered going back here, but I saw that I had enough mana that I thought I'd be reasonably safe. I could just use my mana for heals for a little bit. Mostly Harmless came up to try to support us, and not exactly sure what's going on down there, but it looks like Mostly Harmless might be in some trouble. Not too sure. Again, I have to play a little bit more defensively because I've taken a lot of damage. But it seemed to me that Mostly Harmless should be able to get out of that situation. I mean, Tristana's got rocket jump and everything, and he had Ghost, but is it going to be enough? Mostly Harmless, you can jump over the wall with rocket jump. Nope, unfortunately, apparently not. So the other team manages to get a kill. So unfortunate, a bit of a shame there. Just remember, Mostly Harmless, when you're playing Tristana, you've got Rocket Jump. You can jump over the little walls. I think between Rocket Jump and Ghost, you probably could have been able to get out of that without too much trouble. They pulled someone away from the bottom lane, so we should have been able to make maybe more progress down at the bottom. I'm not entirely sure what was going on down there, but now they're pushing into the middle lane. So yeah, it seems like we probably should shift someone over to there. I'm taking some damage, so I can't do it, but maybe someone can do it. Cole, you've got your stun up, so if Ashe is going to come forward, then just stun her there and let the tower shoot her. Anyway, this is the end of part 1, so check back for part 2.